Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay, hope it's clear. Thanks for joining today's class. We'll start with our normal prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So thanks a lot for joining today's very interesting session. And it will not be a very long session, but it is a very, very important session considering the spirit in which this Bhagavad Gita is spoken. So this chapter, to start with, it's entitled as Bhakti Yoga. And just one chapter before, Krishna has shown his universal form to Arjuna, in which he has actually shown how this universe is created and how Krishna magnanimously present in every aspect of this particular universal form. So in this chapter 12, Arjuna has very interesting questions in mind, and it starts with that. But before dwelling into chapter 12, I wanted to touch upon a very important concept called as this Bhakti Yoga, or this Bhakti means the devotional service. So Bhakti generally means as a devotion, but Prabhupada very nicely translates this Bhakti as a devotional service. So Bhakti generally means very devotional, intimate, or very, very deep loving sentiments for someone. And it's possible only for the Supreme Personality of God, the one whom with we have eternal relations, which continues even after death and in different bodies. So this Bhakti, it is not just limited to this loving relations. This has to be translated into our act, our thought process, our day-to-day activities, and that's why it is called as service. So whatever activities we perform for the pleasure of Lord, they are called as service. So this devotional service, this terminology is very important, that any activity which we perform for the Lord, it need to be done with the proper mindfulness, proper loving sentiments, devotion, everything is there. I mean, English doesn't have enough words to translate this bhakti. So let's start with today's session. So at the start of this previous session, the way Krishna has exhibited his universal form, which was literally like infinite form with so many heads and so many qualities which are embodied in different forms. One may start thinking that, oh, that is the God, one who has so many eyes, so many heads, and so many things. Such a personality must be the God. But Arjuna wanted to, I mean, he himself is now pure devotee. He doesn't have any questions or any doubts about Krishna's supremacy. But whoever is hearing this Gita, from their perspective, Arjuna wants to clarify this particular doubt once and for all. Arjuna, in the very first verse, he asks that, who is a more perfect, O Lord? One who is engaged in your devotional service, that is in your personal devotional service, or who worship the impersonal Brahman. There are so many religions in this world, particularly Abrahamic religions, who propagate this concept of something unmanifested, invisible, inconceivable, and infinite God. It is something that is something just exist, and that also is one of the valid aspect of the Lord. That is an impersonal supreme Brahman. But beyond that impersonal supreme Brahman is a spiritual world, and Lord's personal aspect resides in that particular world. In ending of the previous chapter 11, Krishna actually clearly says that, I mean, he exhibited his universal form, then his four-handed form as a Vishnu, and then at last he exhibited his two-handed form. And a very important instruction Krishna gave, that one who sees this two-handed form, human-like form, and then still knows he is the supreme God, he has got the most rare vision. Because most of the people, they think that, oh, he also got two hands, I also got two hands. It's like he just another personality, some historic personality did some uh, fantastic acts, but it just that he is maybe superman. But considering God, it really needs a leap of faith. So God is not just about external exhibition, it's about his internal qualities and what he is looking for. So this particular chapter is focused on that particular part. So Krishna very clearly specifies that those who fix their minds on my personal form, when this question is asked whether personal is or impersonal, which one is great, Krishna very clearly and categorically in this particular verse he clarifies that one who fix their mind on my personal form, who are engaged in worshipping me with great and transcendental faith. So the important part is leap of faith, knowing the personal form is the supreme. So Krishna is considering them as the most perfect, because these people have reached to the pinnacle of their bhakti, where they understand Lord has mercifully reciprocated with me in this personal form, and they can then with that devotion they can render various service, cooking for him, cleaning, dressing, bathing, so many things they can do for the Lord. So understanding of this particular part is very important, that Lord's opinion is those who fix their minds on my personal form, they are always engaged in worshipping with transcendental faith, they are the most perfect. And about Krishna's second question about this, what about impersonal Brahman? So Krishna actually says for that, for this particular question of Arjuna, Krishna says that those whose minds are attached to unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme. So we saw in the Vedic Cosmos section that this entire impersonal Brahman, which is spread between material world and spiritual world, that impersonal Brahman is also emanated from the personal form of the Lord. But that is not something which is a permanent thing for any soul to go and reside. So this particular trying to advance, I mean, we think that this impersonal thing is the supreme, and trying to perform devotional service or trying to just make oneself better, thinking that let me merge in that impersonal personal Brahman and trying to do lot of austerities and penances. This advancement is very, very troublesome. So Krishna is very clearly saying that making progress in that discipline is very difficult for those who are embodied. So to make a progress, I mean, there are so many religions you can see that then they have some specific scriptures and they follow some guidelines. But for our mind, people who are embodied, for them, Krishna particularly highlights this particular last part, those who are embodied, because we are embodied, the soul is in this body, and then we see everybody, whomever we are interacting, they are also embodied. And then thinking God doesn't have body and he is just a spread everywhere, that is very difficult way to make a progress in that particular path. So God has a supreme body. God also can be impersonal in the form of supreme Brahman. So people who are making progress towards that impersonal aspect, it's not that they are completely false. They do reach, ultimately they also reach to that supreme platform, but it's a very troublesome and it's very slow process. Now, after establishing that personal form is more supreme, Krishna is actually giving more guidelines how we can make a progress or make a practical application of this devotional service in various stages. So at the topmost stage is something like Krishna says, just fix your mind upon me and engage all your intelligence in me. Mind and intelligence, these two things Krishna is asking. If we can engage these two things, then we are already we can approach that supreme platform of devotional service. Mind and intelligence completely fixed in Krishna. I don't think it's very practical for most of us because our mind is running under after so many things. Intelligence is planning thousand other things. So it's not this at this condition stage with so many attachments and so many conditioning, so many contaminations. It's not practical. But immediately Krishna understands this stage that not everybody can be at this stage. Immediately in next verse, Krishna says that if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. Now, why these regulative principles? Regulative principles, particularly what Srila Prabhupada had mentioned, there are like no meat eating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. These things, no meat eating. I'm not eating flesh of an animal, particularly when animals are killed. They are extremely fearful situation, and then their whole consciousness of getting murdered gets transferred in their flesh. By if my diet is eating that flesh, it's very difficult for me to have very clear and devotional sentiments in my mind. No gambling. Any kind of gambling, it involves a lot of risk and a lot of anxiety whether I'll win, I'll lose. There are so many things, so many calculations are going on. With that, again, to have a fixing mind by somewhere else properly, it's not possible. Gambling also takes away so much of it takes so much toll on the mental peace. No intoxication. I mean, this is very clear cuts. The very fact that I cannot take a rational decision, forget about driving, any kind of normal decisions. If anybody is intoxicated, he cannot. He just only regretful actions that person does. So fixing mind under intoxication is impossible. And again, this last part, illicit sex. So this is somewhere fixing our mind somebody other than legitimate spouse. This again takes a lot of toll on our consciousness, and then it again basically the whole consciousness is just engaged in how can I enjoy and then how to hide it from others and then planning so many other things. So that kind of things again takes away the whole focus of the mind. So Krishna is saying that just follow these regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. In this way, develop a desire. There are other regulative principles also that we should stay in Dham. These are four what we discussed is not to do. Then there are things to do that stay in Dham, worship the Archavigraha form of the Lord, chant His holy names, clean the temple of the Lord, use our skills for rendering service of the Lord's. When we do all these things, we actually develop a desire that I'm doing so many things for the Lord, let me go to the abode of Lord. And for that, let me do whatever is required. Because when somebody is engaged in the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, he starts getting some reciprocation because every small thing they start seeing the hand of the Lord in their life. And they also realize that something wouldn't have been possible with their own efforts, but Lord had intervened in their life. And slowly they actually start saying that Lord's mercy in their life, and then the desires becomes burning desire that I really want to serve the Lord with whole heart. And it's possible. So Krishna is saying that if you are not on the level of fixing your mind and intelligence, follow the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga, and with this you will definitely develop a desire to attend me. Now, there might be people who still have so many engagements, and they still do not have so much of desire to kind of engage in the regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. So for that, Krishna is giving the third option, next step. If you cannot practice regulations of Bhakti Yoga, just try to work for me. Now we can see, like for example, in temple, there is a security guard. He might be having his own lifestyle and he may not be so much inclined to devotional service, but he's trying to work for the Lord. There might be someone who is working, but he's inclined, okay, there is something called as devotional things going on, let me donate something there. Or somebody is thinking, let me give my time for the activities of the Lord, let me engage my skills for the Lord. So it's not that they are following all the regulative principles, but still they are on this particular ladder. Even though somebody has their own conditionings, but still Krishna is recommending them just try to work for me, because by working for me, slowly, definitely they will come to the perfect stage. So that is the next stage. Then again, Krishna is giving, if you are still not able to, I mean, somebody doesn't accept existence of God only, and he doesn't want to do anything with the God. Krishna is then recommending that if you are unable to work in this consciousness, then just try to giving up all the results of your work. That means you just work for the welfare of all. Don't try to exploit some kind of sense gratification out of your activities, because even that is also considered the social work, or helping others, or doing duty only for the sake of setting an example. That is still a very good platform. And Krishna is saying that if you are not even able to do that activity, that you just want to, you are still attached to the fruits of your results endeavors, then Krishna is asking that just engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Now, cultivation of knowledge means at least let's discuss with somebody open mindedly, or read yourself, or hear something. So put little endeavor in cultivation of knowledge. Remaining in ignorance is never an solution. If you are looking for a solution for all the problems in life, particularly birth, death, disease, and old age, then definitely we cannot find any solution in this particular material world. To break this cycle of birth and death, we have to cultivate some level of knowledge. So this is a basic minimum expectation, that we put our time, we put our intelligence to cultivate some level of intelligence. Now, so this knowledge is a basic minimum platform. And then Krishna says that better than knowledge is the meditation, contemplation of this particular knowledge, how this knowledge is very much realistic, what will happen if I apply this knowledge. That meditation is very important. And then more than better than meditation, Krishna says, is the renunciation of fruits of action. So it is something which is matching to the 12.11, the previous verse, that giving up the results of your work. Because by renunciation one can attain the peace of mind. So as long as one is not attached to the fruits of result, if you remember the chapter 4th, where we had this whole slide about committing action, then getting the reaction, then the changing the mind, creating impressions, the whole cycle. If you are not attached to the results, at least that cycle will stop. So again, what Krishna is expecting is basic minimum is the cultivation of knowledge. This seminar, what sessions what we are conducting, or if you are fortunate enough to speak to someone, then that's a basic particular platform who has a spiritual knowledge. We talk to them. Cultivation of knowledge is a basic one. Better than cultivation of knowledge is a meditation, contemplation, how to apply this knowledge. Better than that is giving up the results of our work. That means doing something better for the others. Better than that, I mean, rather than just working for everybody, if you know that if you can work from Krishna directly, one who has created everything, then I can develop a very nice qualities. Then coming to the platform where we accept the existence of God and try to do something for Him. Better than just working for the Lord is following the regulative principles. I mean, understanding what God wants. Let me try to do that kind of thing. Let me chant. Let me go. Okay, God wants this kind of cuisine. Let me create that kind of ingredients and cook for Him. So, following regulative principles which Lord wants, and that creates a desire. And then slowly, one will come to the platform where, when we know the heart melting qualities of the Lord, His reciprocation, automatically our mind will get attracted, like a iron getting attracted towards the magnet. So this fixing our mind and intelligence becomes a very natural process. So Krishna is saying there are various levels. All of us can judge ourselves. Nobody else has to tell it at what level we are and where we can put efforts. But the basic minimum is cultivation of knowledge. Having obtained this human form, we have to question, what is the purpose of my life? Am I just going to die without just like doing my duties, or there is something higher in my life to attend? So this cultivation of knowledge is a very important. The next section of this chapter, sorry, the next section of this chapter is very important, because this is actually crux of the entire Bhagavad Gita. And this, what is the crux? This makes us eligible to enter into the spiritual world. What is it? The entire purpose of our existence is to develop these devotional qualities which are very dear to the heart of Lord. And He is recommending that if we can some or other work towards these qualities, our existence is perfect. So let's go through what qualities Lord actually relishes. So very quickly, we'll go through this summary starting verse 13 till 19. He is not envious of anyone, but he's a kind friend to all living entities. So one needs to be genuine well-wisher for every living entity, including his enemy, who does not even think himself proprietor. So we do not think anything is my creation and this belongs to me and then getting attached to it. No, free from false ego, that understanding, free from ahankar, that this is me and this is my extended family, and then in 15th chapter we'll discuss this more. But free from false ego is very important. Who is equal in both happiness and distress, who is a tolerant, who is a self-controlled, always satisfied. Now these qualities can be achieved by a person who actually is very, very fixed in his knowledge. And then what he does with the fixing in his knowledge, he's engaged in devotional service with determination. So no matter what ups and downs comes in life, one's position is unshakable. And such a person, his mind and intelligence fixed on me, such a devotee of mine is very dear to me. So Krishna is saying what all qualities Krishna likes in others, and we can work towards slowly, gradually to this platform. So he by whom no one is put into difficulty. So we are not deliberately trying to put somebody even in mental anxiety, and who is not getting disturbed by anyone. Even if other is trying to put me in anxiety, I understand that maybe it's a karma settling things or whatever it might be. I might have done something wrong, and not harboring any kind of ill intentions to anybody, not getting disturbed by anyone. He's equipoised in happiness, distress, fear, anxiety is very dear to me. Then Krishna goes on saying the last particular 18-19 verse. Now, there were some questions, some in the last chapter we saw in 11th chapter when Arjuna was very excited, he actually was repeating in words, "Oh, you are so great, you have so many hands, you have so many qualities, and then you have so many forms and you have so many qualities." So Arjuna was repeating his words. In the Krishna actually was with little emotions. He's also kind of little bit repeating his words in this particular part, and repetition always signifies it is very, very useful to highlight the importance of those things. So Krishna has mentioned few of the qualities before, and he's not asking too much, just a 6 verses of qualities. And in this verse, he's again repeating them. Who is equal to friends and enemies, who is equipoised in honor, dishonor, heat, cold, happiness, distress, fame, infamy. So this equipoisedness is something which actually means remaining steady in all the ups and downs in life is something which Krishna actually likes from the bottom of his heart. He's always free from contaminating. He's who is always free from contaminating association. So this is something, association is something actually can make or break our life. And if we are not having the liking or the inner inner quest or inner somewhere hidden desire to go and associate with some people who are having bad habits, if we are getting completely free from that contaminating association, Lord definitely likes, then we are satisfied with anything whatever is provided by the Lord. Who is fixed in knowledge, who is engaged in devotional service, such a person is very dear to me. So this chapter ends with this very interesting verse. Those who follow this imperishable path of devotional service. So this path is not for this life. People perform devotional service for lifetimes together. So this, although it appears 6 verses, it's practically impossible to have that equanimity and then free from contaminating desires, tolerance, self-control, not getting disturbed. One verse itself, not putting somebody else into deliberately into difficulty, not getting disturbed by others. So these things, they take time, but with the help of Lord, it's possible. We'll see in the next slides how it is possible. So this imperishable path of devotional service, this actually is in life after life, and one who completely engages themselves with faith. Now this is very important. In the journey, now this journey is the best part is it's very attractive towards the Lord. So more we try to put efforts in this path, we actually get a lot of realizations, a lot of reciprocation from the Lord, and faith also automatically increases. So one who is living their life making Lord the supreme goal, he is very, very dear to me. So Krishna is highlighting his expectation that such people are very dear, who are putting efforts in this imperishable path. They are very dear to me. So this devotional yoga, bhakti yoga, devotional service, it highlights, to start with Arjuna's question whether impersonal personal is superior, then understanding the superiority of this personal, then okay, I put some slides to give the summary of this conclusion of these chapters, this particular chapter. Let's go through it quickly. So first 7 verses, this particular part is whether personal is higher or impersonal is higher, which aspect is higher. So impersonal aspect has an unmanifested imperceptible truth, and advancement is very difficult there. And there are so many faiths who propagate this ideology of impersonal thing, but advancement is very difficult. Of course, at last, only those who are really sincere and who are enlightened by the Lord from within, they will achieve Lord. But that path is long cut. Personal form is very easily understandable. We can see the Lord in front. We see the deity form of Lord in the temple. We can offer worship. We can dress. We can cook. So many reciprocatory things can happen in personal form. And the faith on Lord, more one is engaged in such activities, his faith is increased, and also Lord helps him from within. So this devotion without deviation, that is unalloyed devotion, it becomes very easy in the personal form of the Lord. And what happens to such a personality who is engaging his mind and intelligence upon Krishna? He is delivered very, very swiftly, because this is a very super shortcut, that engaging in the accepting personal form of the Lord as a supreme and engaging in his devotional service. So advancement in the personal form is, it's very, very easy. Now, to make advancement in that personal form, Krishna had given a various stages of the spectrum. So spirituality spectrum we already gone through. Let's repeat it again. Sorry. Fixing one's mind upon Krishna. So very first thing, fixing one's mind and intelligence. So fixing means they are like blinded in devotion, because then they are so much of having so much of attachment, like residents of Vrindavan or the pure devotees of the Lord. Their mind is automatically attracted towards the Lord. So they are like blinded in devotion. We are definitely not at that Ananya Bhakti level. The next level is we follow rules and regulations of Bhakti Yoga. That will help us to develop a desire to attend Krishna. So this is like a guided in devotion. We follow the scriptures, we follow the sadhus, we follow the guru, and then that's how we perform our sadhana bhakti. If somebody is not at that level, he can then at least work for Krishna. He may not be able to compromise on his lifestyle, but still somehow or other keep on working for Krishna, offer some fruits of our work to the Krishna, follow the prescribed duties with devotion. That will enable them to come to the platform of Bhakti Yoga with proper rules. Now, if you are not directly accepting Krishna, at least give up the results of work and work in detachment, dispassion. Even that is also considered somewhere on the platform. And below that is a meditation, contemplation, and cultivation of knowledge. So these things, this spiritual spectrum, it actually makes us eligible understand what level we are and how we can make progress. So even if somebody is at knowledge, as long as somebody is in this path, he has to be appreciated. At least he is on the proper route. Somebody is trying to cultivate knowledge, definitely is on right path. Over a period of time, he'll contemplate on that knowledge. He will work for the welfare of others. He will work towards Lord also ultimately. And then he'll start giving up his unwanted things. He'll follow the regulations of Bhakti Yoga. Due course of time, he'll develop burning desire to attend the Lord. And he will, some point of time, will get Ananya Bhakti, where he'll be eligible to go back to the Supreme World. Now coming, the important part of today's discussion is there are so many devotional qualities which we discussed. Now It's not that all these devotional qualities can be manifested only at the last stage. So Krishna gave so many stages of advancement in Bhakti Yoga, only at last stage things are manifesting, not like that. The more one is purer, automatically his qualities will shine more and more. So the perfection of our life is to cultivate these devotional qualities. The perfection of this Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, everything is to cultivate these devotional qualities. The goal of Bhagavad Gita is actually to cultivate these devotional qualities. Now we cannot, okay, equanimity, tolerance, then the patience. I cannot go step by step. So, um, so by I mean, it's not possible that I just make a list of these qualities and work towards one quality. Then again, okay, this quality is tick mark. Go to next. It's not possible because this there are so many challenges keeps on coming in life. Even if I perfect some qualities, somewhere else I might lack. So the important thing is Acharya says that rather than trying to develop all the qualities with, of course, we need to know them and work towards them, but rather than working towards them exclusively, focus on only one quality. What is that primary quality? Devotional disposition towards Krishna. Having this faith that Lord is with me and whatever is happening in my life, Lord is arranging it in such a way that I will get advanced more and more. So, having this disposition, the positive disposition towards the Lord, this one quality will develop all other secondary qualities. This faith that, oh Lord, what you are doing with me, I do not understand, but I have this faith on you that it will help me to develop certain devotional qualities. The work I'm doing, the people I'm interacting, the situation I'm going through, tough situations in my life, they are all helping me to develop some specific devotional qualities which you like. And oh Lord, please help me to get this deep understanding and keep my faith focused and not deviated to anything else. This one desire, one primary quality, that faith on the Lord will help one to develop rest of the qualities. So Vedic teachings, they are summarized in this particular three aspects: Sambandha, Abhedeya, Prayojan. Sambandha means connection, understanding, relationship of me and the Supreme Lord. So Lord has already created this material world. He's sitting in my heart as a Paramatma. He's arranged so many things. Why is he doing? There is definitely some relationship, some connection is there. Understanding this connection is a Sambandha. This Abhideya, after knowing the connection, how to revive that connection, how to get back that love for the Lord, that process, that substantiation of knowledge, application of this whole knowledge is this Abhideya process. And Prayojana is the final destination or perfection where one has applied everything, all the principles, passed through all the stages and got the love of God. That is the Prayojan. So this particular chapter, the Prayojan is actually this all these divine qualities. The Abhideya, the one Krishna suggested stages, the sadhana bhakti, the where giving up the fruits results, everything comes in that Abhideya. And that sambandha, the connection, it starts knowing that personal form of the Lord. I mean, Lord also has emotions. He wants me to be back with Him. Understanding the very connection starts knowing that Lord is a personal. I cannot have direct connection with impersonal, but with personal form, it becomes very easy. So Vedic teaching, the crux of the all Vedic teachings is actually summarized in this particular chapter. um, just to give a short summary that maybe I'm thinking the way we did for first six chapters of Karma Yoga, we'll also do the this six chapters of Bhakti Yoga so that we are on the same page or we are not lost across the chapters. And then we'll start this Jnana Yoga. And then this last six chapters are super interesting because they actually create the foundation of the knowledge. So performing Karma Yoga on this solid platform of Jnana Yoga with the intention of Bhakti Yoga. That is the overall Bhagavad Gita. So we discussed the first part, that is performing Karma Yoga. The second part is loving intention of Bhakti Yoga. That also we discussed. The solid platform of Jnana Yoga. This is also very important for us to understand because here we chapter this as I given on this slide. 13th chapter we understand how we became prisoner of this kshetra. the material surroundings and this body. Then what are actual shackles which are binding us, this soul? Is it like they are invisible shackles? They are our own habits and so many things. So understanding them, these shackles, and how to break from these shackles, how to break from this prison, that again part comes in chapter 15. And 16, 17, 18 also has some interesting topics. But anyway, we'll today's discussion will restrict to the chapter 12. And if you have any specific questions, please feel free to ask. If not, then as usual, we can just go and have a quick summary of today's session. So it started with Arjuna asking which is more perfect, impersonal or personal, and Krishna says his personal form is great, and then advancement in impersonal part is actually very difficult. If you have any questions, please just stop me in between and feel free to ask. So, so in the first section, Krishna establishes the supremacy of his personal form. Knowing this personal form, the important part is how we make an advancement. What are the stages one has to go through? That is the first part is sambandha. This slide is all about sambandha, the personal form. The second is all this how to establish, how to progress towards a lot. The journey part, it comes in this and next slide. So there are various stages. The topmost, I think let's go from top to bottom. Sorry, bottom to top. So bottom is just cultivation of knowledge. At least try to understand about this spirituality, try to apply some principles and see how it works in our life. Better than that is contemplation, meditation, understanding this knowledge and seeing it everything, its application around us. Better than that is a renunciation of fruits of action, because that helps us to develop detachment, and that detachment itself brings some good qualities. Getting detached from negativity, from this material world, actually is kind of helps us to come to the neutral platform, and from that platform it's very easy to advance to the positive platform. So giving up results of our work, or engaging in social work, or helping others without any personal expectation, that's a very good platform. And then knowing that I have gotten these skills and capabilities by the mercy of Lord, then let me, and He exists, and He is there helping me in and out. He's there in my heart. He is there without, he's existing in His spiritual world. He's kind enough to present in the deity form. So after gathering all this knowledge, let me work for the Lord. Let me offer at least some result, my skills, my time, money, something. Let me offer something to the Lord. That is the next stage. Beyond that, that is one becomes serious in spirituality. Picks up regulative principles of Bhakti Yoga. He becomes then, okay, let me follow what Lord likes. Let me avoid Lord which Lord does not like. That's regulative principles. The topmost stage is one is just getting attracted to the Lord spontaneously. Then then Lord actually lists down the very important qualities which Lord himself likes. The very important part, Lord actually starts with not envious. That's the first part, not envious. So anybody is making progress in spiritual life, important part, not envious. It's all about spiritual life is all about appreciation and encouragement. So anybody is making progress is actually is he will help us. I mean, he can help us how to overcome certain situations. So anybody is making progress, we should be very happy. They will help us. And if we are in a position, we should also help others. So not envious is a very important part. Kind friend to every other living entity, important. Equanimity in happiness, distress, because this stage will come only when we start seeing hands of the Lord. So whatever may be the result, it is helping me to develop some divine qualities. This faith on Lord is important. Being tolerant in all ups and downs, self-control, determination, equipoised. These are all very important qualities. And the Lord also appreciates one who sticks to this imperishable path with